What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the GameFreak. And boxing is back on the consoles, baby. I've been waiting for a boxing game forever. The last one that we got on a console, a true boxing game, was Fight Night Champion, and that was all the way back in 2011, and that was on the PS3. Well, there's a new company in town called Steel City, and they decided to make a boxing game, and they wanted to make it as realistic as possible. And I've been following the development of this game since, I believe, 2020. They started showing some alpha footage, and they've done a lot of updates and patches on this game since then to try to make it as realistic as possible. And I've also seen the name changed. Originally, this was not called Undisputed, it was Esports Boxing Club. And I'm glad they did change the name because a lot of people might have got that confused thinking it was an EA Sports game, which it's not. So what they ended up doing eventually was doing early access to this game before they put it out on a console, and they put it on Steam, and they let players box away with each other and give their input on what needs fixed, any recommendations, all that, which is really cool for, I think, any company to do. And this game was finally released in October of this year, and I bought it on the day of release. So I'm going to let you know if this game is worth it. Is it polished up totally now and console ready? Let's check it out. As I said earlier, Undisputed was developed by Steel City Interactive and published by Deep Silver. It was announced back in 2020, but was called Esports Boxing Club before it was renamed in 2022. I was patiently waiting for this game to release from the moment I seen the alpha footage. It was a work in progress, but it looked absolutely amazing. And as a boxing fan, I had been craving a true boxing video game since 2011 when Fight Night Champion was released on the PS3. Undisputed had some big shoes to fill if it was going to knock out the reigning king of boxing simulators. They promised to do so with precise punching, total control defense, and realistic graphics. This game looked and sounded like a boxing fan's dream. It features over 70 licensed fighters, and they stand true to their real-life movements, stances, punches, defensive techniques, and skill sets. It also features over 60 individual punches, as well as 50 different attributes and traits. Undisputed doesn't just focus on men's boxing. It also consists of the women's division, not to mention the ability to hire licensed trainers, cutmen, and managers. You can even fire them at any time and hire a whole new staff. The more money your boxer is making, the better team you can hire. It also features 3 of the 4 major boxing organizations, the WBC, WBO, and the IBF. The Ring magazine is also added into the mix with their versions of championships available to win during career mode. This allows you to become Undisputed Champion. If you don't want to start a career with a real boxer, you can create your own. Creating a boxer is one of the big highlights of the game. It has a very detailed menu so you can make your boxer look exactly how you want him or her to look. You also can choose from a wide variety of different hairstyles, shoes, gloves, and tattoos. The possibilities are literally endless when it comes to creating a fighter. Unfortunately, it's also one of the most enjoyable parts of the game. It starts out promising with its visuals. Finally, a boxing game where a fighter's hair doesn't look like a lump of clay on their head. When starting a career, you have the option to contend in an amateur tournament to kind of get your movements and techniques down. If you want to skip the tournament and go straight to your professional debut, you can do that also. Before you enter the ring, you obviously have to choose an opponent. After that, you'll be prompted to negotiate a contract for that fight. This includes the percentage of the purse, the venue, fight insurance, rematch clause, media promotion, and more. More than a handful of your early fights are done so in gyms and small venues. There is no crowd watching the fight in some of these gyms, just the fighter's training staff and some random people working out in the background. Unfortunately, there's also no commentary until you start fighting in bigger venues, so it's rather quiet. Also, don't expect a cutscene of you walking to the ring until you hit those bigger venues and your popularity is growing. So in all honesty, your first 8 to I'd say 10 fights are kind of boring. Undisputed also missed an opportunity between rounds. There's no interaction with your cut man to fix your face up when you're cut or swollen. They also missed an opportunity when training for a fight. There's no hands-on training like in Fight Night. You do get to choose what you focus on during training camp, but the actual training is all simulated. When it comes to gameplay, I expected this to control much differently than Fight Night. It's actually pretty similar, and there wasn't much of a transition to get used to. The biggest issue is stamina. No matter how much you train to build your stamina up, it just seems to drain extremely quick. A 3-punch combo and you'll want to back up immediately to let your stamina replenish. There's no going into the fight swinging like crazy or you will pay. That's actually a good thing, but that stamina still drains way too fast. It does take some time to build up your punching speed as well, so expect slow and sluggish punches when you start your career. Even after you build up some speed, the punches just don't feel crisp. They actually looked better before they patched the game and released it on consoles. As good and detailed as the boxers look, the cuts and scrapes look almost cartoonish. The bruising and swelling look pretty good, and the blood splatter on the chest is a nice touch. When you knock an opponent down, it's almost like it's in slow motion, so I was disappointed with that. It's also the same animation almost every time your opponent is getting up off the canvas. If you are knocked down, you have to use both analog sticks and keep the cursors within the color markings on both sides. It can be challenging at times depending on how hurt you are. The game does get more entertaining the further you get into your career, however. When you finally have a ring entrance and some commentary, it definitely makes a difference. Although, when it comes to the commentary, it's nothing really to brag about. They repeat themselves quite often, and a lot of times, they say things that aren't even on point with how the fight is going. Undisputed has the potential to be a great boxing game, but as of right now, it's just not. Maybe down the road with some more updates and patches, this game could end up being the game it should have always been. Perfect example of a situation like this is Days Gone. After almost 14 years of waiting for a new boxing game, I am unfortunately disappointed with the state this game is in at the moment. I was expecting a new king when it comes to boxing games, but Fight Night still holds that crown. Maybe things will change with future updates and patches, but as of right now, I can only rate this game a 6 out of 10. Undisputed is good, but it's far from great. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video, and if you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out this channel a lot, and I greatly appreciate it. And If you are a content creator, don't forget to type the word content in the comments below, and the GameFreak army will go to your page and subscribe to you. We're all here to help each other out. It's that easy. You just type the word content in the comments section. So once again, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch, and until the next video, game on, everybody.